Well, when they cut back on the lending, when they cut back on Ant and all of those companies, it was massive. There were billions of dollars of unregulated lending going on, which was a disaster waiting to happen. So I'm delighted they cut back on that. Delighted they cut back on the tutoring because it gave some people an unfair advantage. I mean, the same thing happens in Singapore where I live. It's good for me because I can afford tutors, but it's not good for the country. So that was a good move as far as I'm concerned. Some of the rest of it I don't quite understand what's happening, but certainly China is hitting out at a lot of people and it's causing their market to go down. Now, if you can understand the Chinese mind in Beijing, I cannot. I wish I could, But look at India. The Sensex is I think it's all-time highs. It's a very hot market. But China, by the way, I just want to say China has a lot of debt now. They didn't have debt 20 years ago. Beijing says they're going to let people go bankrupt. They have been letting people go bankrupt. I hope they do. It would be good for China. It would be good for the world. It would not be good for the people going bankrupt, but it would certainly be good for the world. Well, it's always good to do something about debt. I mean, we all know that. And China had no debt 25 years ago. Now they have built up a lot of debt. Beijing is right to try to do something about it, but it's going to cause, it got so big, it's now going to hurt a lot of people. If you own debt in a company that goes bankrupt, you suffer. You know that as well as I do. And China's going to learn that. I hope they let people go bankrupt, and I hope they clean up the debt situation. Yes, it's going to cause pain, but we all need it. We need to clean up the Chinese debt problem. China had no debt ever. Well, not ever, but certainly not in the past 50 or 100 years for many historic reasons. Now they do. The government says we're going to let them collapse. I hope they do. Clean up the debt. And then China and the rest of us can turn around and grow again. It's not going to be good for China or for the world when it happens. But if the government is correct and they mean it, the problem is they don't know what they're talking about. They said we're going to let people go bankrupt. But they haven't had hundreds of people calling them on the phone in the past 50, 70 years saying, save us, save us, save us, because they didn't have people going bankrupt. Now they do. So let's see if they mean it. If thousands of people call up and say, you must save me, you must save me, you must save me, let's see what they do. I mean, I've been investing in many markets for a long time. We always have corrections. We always have bear markets. In the U.S., we had Penn Central collapse. We've had a lot of things collapse. So we've always caused the markets to go down for a while. It wasn't the end of the world. And I don't think the collapse of many companies in China will be the end of the world. Not this time, not yet. The world is going to end someday, but not in your lifetime, and certainly not this time. So let the companies go bankrupt. Let them collapse. It will cause many things to go down in price for a while, but I hope I'm smart enough that if that happens, I hope I'm smart enough, and if bargains develop, I hope I'm smart enough to buy more of whatever it is, whether it's silver or sugar or whatever it happens to be. You know as well as I do that most central banks in the world are more worried about their job than anything else. And if things start slowing down, they're going to print money, they're going to buy bonds, they're going to do whatever they have to save their jobs, which means printing a lot of money, which means being very loose, and it's going to happen again. Is it good for the world? No, but they don't care about the world. They care about their jobs. Please, you know that. I've been watching and reading about central banks all my life. We've had 2 or 3 good central banks in my lifetime. In fact, India had one of the best. He's gone now, but you had one of the best central banks of my lifetime. But unfortunately, we don't have any good central bankers around anymore. The guy in Japan says he goes to work very early every morning, and he's a good bureaucrat, and he says he is going to print, his word, unlimited amounts of money, and he is. So I own Japanese ETFs because he's printing money and buying Japanese ETFs. Is that good for the world? No, it's not good for the world. It's good for me, but it's not good for the world.
Are you still long dollar, Jim?
I am long dollar still. And the reason hasn't changed, but I expect there to be some turmoil down the road. It looks like it might be developing now. And in times of turmoil, people seek a safe haven, and they think the U.S. dollar is a safe haven. It's for historic reasons. It's not a safe haven, but people think it is. So I own dollars, yes. Now, if the dollar goes up during the turmoil, which I expect, I don't know what I'm going to do with my money then. It's harder and harder to find a place to put money that really is safe. I mean, maybe it's going to be silver. I don't know what it's going to be. I'm looking. Well, silver has more than doubled in the last 12, 18 months. I'm not sure. I know for you, double is not so good. You know, ET now, oh, you're accustomed to everything doubling and tripling every year. But silver has doubled. Gold has gone up a good amount in the last year or so, over 50%. For the rest of us, that's pretty good. I have not bought any gold or silver in a good while. I am waiting. I don't know. I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for the correction to continue. And if and when the correction continues, I hope I'm smart enough to buy more gold and silver somewhere along the line. I certainly will not get the bottom. I never get the bottom. Not good market timing. But I hope that I am smart enough to buy more gold and more silver somewhere along the line, because before this is over, you know, gold and silver are going to go up a lot. But when people lose confidence in governments and lose confidence in money, they always buy gold and silver. They always have, and they will continue to do so.
If I have to choose between gold and silver on one side and Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on the other side, remember, Jim, we are talking about 5 to 7 years. What should be that obvious go-to place?
For me, it would be silver. I would suspect, you know, if Bitcoin becomes successful as money, which the bulls say it will, governments, in my view, will do something, because governments do not like to lose their monopoly. Governments do not like to lose control. They never have. And if it becomes successful, they will do something. Now, governments all over the world are trying to put money on the computer. In China, you know, you cannot take a taxi with money. You have to use your computer money. You can have ice cream with money in China. China's ahead of the U.S., but everybody is working on it. Eventually, all money is going to be on the computer. And when that happens, I don't think the U.S., as an example, will say, okay, guys, this is now money, but if you want to use that money, you can. That's not the way the U.S. government works. They like to say, keep control.
What is the end game for the longest bull market in the history?
It's actually since 2009, so it's actually nearly 12 years now, and it is the longest in American history. It doesn't mean it can't go on another 12 years. I doubt it. It never has. These markets have always ended. Bull markets have always ended after a while. My view is that if we have a correction, the central banks are going to do their best to revive it again. They will be successful at least for a while, but that will probably be the last gas. We'll have one last boom up, maybe even a sell up, you know, a fly up, whatever you call it. And then that will be the end. And then we're going to have a horrible bear market because there's so much debt. 2008, we had a horrible bear market because of too much debt. Since then, the debt everywhere has skyrocketed, and it has to, the next bear market cannot be better because there's so much more debt now. And it's going to be the worst in my lifetime. I don't particularly like saying it. I hope I survive it. Well, if I had to buy one thing now, it would probably be agricultural commodities or silver. But no, it would be agricultural commodities. If I had to buy one thing in September of 2021, it would be agricultural commodities. Agriculture has been a disaster for decades. The average age of farmers in America is 58. In Japan, it's 66. The highest rate of suicide in the UK is in agriculture. It's been a disaster. More people in America study public relations than study agriculture. I mean, it's been horrible. So I would buy agriculture. Now, what I buy, there's an ETF on the New York Stock Exchange, an agricultural ETF, and it's simple, easy, and many studies have showed that if you buy the index, you will outperform most active investors. So I buy the ETF. I'm not shorting anything yet because there's so much money printing, and I have learned it's dangerous to short when there's a huge amount of money printing. I guess if I was shorting one thing, it would be the FANGs in the U.S. Because they're just so expensive and they go up every day. I mean, you pick it, maybe Apple. I'm not short Apple, but they just go up all the time because everybody thinks they will never go down. And I guess I would short one of the FANG. I guess I would short Apple only because I don't know what I'm doing. I would probably short Apple if I could short one thing, but I'm not shorting it.
And just to wrap it up with one thought on real estate, Jim, because what we've seen in last 12, 18 months is that across the board, real estate prices have also gone gangbusters. Whether it is emerging markets or developed markets, whether it is smaller towns or whether it are large towns. Has that multi-year trend in real estate started again?
Well, we do have a bubble in New Zealand, Korea, many places, parts of India, as you know, parts of China. Oh my gosh, certainly parts of China. So yes, that's partly because interest rates are so very, very low. And when it's the lowest interest rates in history, people like to buy property. But when interest rates go higher, property is going to come down because first of all, because prices have gotten too high. And second, interest rates will go higher again, and that's going to squeeze a lot of people. I am not buying property because I know what's going on. But if you can find property that's cheap somewhere, a good location and good quality, certainly if you can find property that's in an agricultural location, you're probably going to do very, very well. If you find property cheap, quality property in an agricultural location, you should buy some, and then you send me an email, and I'll do some research too.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.